like booking these predictions, these mythical honeybees, I would have gotten stuck last week. I would have booked your Packers bid, and I would have gone down one. So like last week for me, I only did two, and I think it was a win and a push. I had Buffalo money line against Miami a week ago. They've now beaten Miami 12 or 14 times and 5 in a row. And Seattle -3 at New England. And you're absolutely right with that. Seattle had fortune go its way to just get the push in overtime. So would you have booked any of my two last week? Like where you're like, no, you're just like you're off with New England's gonna cover, or Miami's gonna win.
I liked Miami last week, and so I would have been on that side of it.
Okay, so then we would have pushed you. I would have owed you one. You would have owed me one. So let's add that component to the 6-pack of picks.
Okay,
where the 6-pack of picks could be just entertaining games where we're not touting anything point spread wise, like last week PJ against Nevada, and I didn't do a point spread push. But it was just like watching wishbone offenses is cool because they're gotcha plays. But on the other side of it, if the wishbone doesn't work and the defense is throttling it the way PJ's defense did, well, that's cool too, because it's like, I remember 15, 20 years ago, 25, whatever, is I was with some friends in Las Vegas. And my man, because I don't know that much about college football, so I ain't spending my money on it. But my man, he tagged the Huskers, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, all right, and they were a really good team. Just tagged them, like -2.5, whatever,
sure,
something like that. Well, then they got down 2 scores, and they're out here running the single wing. They're out here running the option, the wishbone. And then he's like, they can't pass.
I always love that one.
They run so much, they never pass.
I always love that
and when
one.
they try to pass, it's terrible.
I always love
like
that
wishbone teams, when they get behind, as we saw with the Wolfpack, they just can't throw. So the 6-pack of picks could have some toutability to it, but it also could be, hey, if you enjoy 6-packs, then just sit back on your couch and enjoy this game. For me, I have 3 this week where we will enjoy the games, but we're also going to enjoy them with point spread prowess. And speaking of the Golden Gophers, my first one involves these guys.
Here is Taylor stepping out of 1, stepping out of 2. He is off to the races. Midfield, far sideline 40. A man to beat. Waits for the block, crossing the field to the 10. Lowering his shoulder and leaning in. 81 yards, no flag, touchdown.
Mike Grimm, play-by-play voice for the Golden Gophers on the call. 6:30 KFAN. It's the Golden Gophers and the Iowa Hawkeyes. The Hawkeyes are favored by 2.5. All right, 2 or 2.5. The Gophers are going to beat Iowa. The Golden Gophers are going to beat Iowa for a second consecutive year. The Gophers have played one bad quarter all year. It was the first one of the season against North Carolina. Darius Taylor is up to speed. Daniel Jackson zapped them for 101 last year in a super low-scoring game. And Bo Hunting-Burnsy's Minnesota Moving Company is going to pound these Hawks into submission. Taylor runs for at least 110. Ja Joyner wrecks the game on the defensive line. And because of the ferocity of the rush, Kerry Brown will record his first pick 6.
Ooh.
Sky-U-Ma, money line players. Sky-U-Ma.
I like that. I'm all NFL with my 3.
You gonna book my PJ play?
I'm not booking it because
it's bad for business on the radio in Minnesota.
I'm just not confident enough in terms of I have not watched Iowa.
Yeah.
So I've seen what I've seen out of the Gophers.
Well, you know me, man. I'm breaking down all all 22 of Hawkeye's Troy football. That was all over last night for 3 hours.
No, I get it, but I can't book that. I don't.
Understood.
I can't disagree with you. I just can't in that respect.
Understood.
Can you go against me on this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking big swings this weekend, and my first of a couple of weird ones. I'm going Cards +3 over the Lions.
Fake to Connor. Murray on the rollout. Looking deep for Harrison. Marvin Harrison Jr. to the end zone. Touchdown again.
That's Dave Pash, Cardinals Radio Network. This is a six-pack of picks. This is like a seasonal beer, PA. It's like an Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
You wouldn't drink it in December or January maybe, but tis the season.
Yeah.
I'm striking while the iron's hot before people figure out Jonathan Gannon's group, before Kyler freaks out and regresses, before injuries start taking place. Cards offense has been so versatile and explosive through two. Took the Bills to the wire and had a chance to dagger Josh Allen in Buffalo, but the Lions are really vulnerable through the air right now. And if Aiden can't get to Kyler and he gets time, he extends drives, he finds Marvin Harrison, they work that thing out. Baker ran 5 times for 34 yards against the Lions last week. Kyler's even more active on the ground, if even just to find his way to throw. The Cards are running over everyone right now, too, with James Conner. Keys for me, Lions 1 of 7 in the red zone last weekend, 3 of 11 through 2 games. What did the Bucs do to stifle the Lions in the red area? The Cards will be spending all week looking at that. Teams are 5 of 20 on third down against the Cardinals right now, one of the best in the NFL. And Goff just hasn't looked quite as special thus far. And
Agreed.
It's really easy, and it takes just one game for him to jump out. The lower yards per attempt, it's kind of boom or bust in moments. The deep shots to Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra, but really trying to work Laporta in there hasn't been successful thus far. I think if they struggle to win, they're going to have to win a shootout with the Cards, and I don't think they can at this stage. So I'm getting 3, and I'm taking it. Cardinals over the Lions.
This is not going to be a book it. This is going to be a piggyback it.
Ooh.
I'm right there with you on this one. I almost picked the same thing. The Lions, well, and by the way, what's up with Sam Laporta? I mean, it's like he was the greatest rookie tight end in the history of rookie tight ends, history of the NFL. You can't find him with a searchlight right now. Now, it's all going to come together, including Goff, but that doesn't mean it's going to come together this week. For as ballyhooed as the Lions are with Aiden Hutchinson, Terrian, what's my guy's name?
Terrian Arnold?
Yeah, okay. He's going to be fine. They upgraded their safeties, at least they think. Branch is a nice hybrid back there. For the good things they have, they're not fast. This is not a fast defense. They don't have the greatest team speed defensively or really offensively. Jamison Williams is fast, but Amon-Ra St. Brown was drafted where he was drafted, A, because he's rather diminutive, but B, he's not a speed burner. Okay, but defensively, this is the wrong team to play if you don't have good team speed on defense. So, yeah, I like Arizona, kind of like Arizona to win the game, but I'm going to piggyback your +3 there. And then if we hit that, we can go ahead and store the metaphorical nuts and get ready for these guys.
2nd and goal for the 49ers wearing white jerseys and gold pants. Purdy back to pass, throws left short, caught Kittle at the 5, reaches for the goal line, touchdown 49ers. George Kittle with a 7-yard touchdown. Brock Purdy throws his first touchdown this game, and it's 10-6 Minnesota.
A quick aside, FICA, Fairness, and Kittle Act. I've said it before, but I've never really gone down the road on it. But now watching back the Vikings and Niners, George Kittle's the best tight end in the NFL.
He's awesome.
Yeah, Travis Kelce is extremely good, and I love Travis Kelce. But after watching what George Kittle did to a few players in pass protection and then run blocking on that Jordan Mason touchdown where he went out to the right, Ivan Pace overran it, and I don't think he was in the right spot. Kittle murdered 2 guys. George Kittle's the best overall tight end in the National Football League. Don't at me. The 49ers thrive in situations like this. All right, now, we're giving 7 on the road. Not a big fan of that. We're giving 7 points as a road team. But is it really a road game? Because there will be as many 49er fans at SoFi as there will Rams fans. And they're louder than the Rams fans. And that's why they thrive in situations like this. The Rams are down all their best players. All right, Kupp, Nakua. I mean, they're down unbelievably good players. They're left tackle. It's super sad. The games at SoFi where LA sports fans either don't buy tickets to games or they sell them for twice the price to 49ers fans. The scarlet red and metallic gold of the 49ers will be loud, proud, and mad off a loss to the Minnesota Vikings. Next level Shanny is out for scarlet red blood. And the Rams don't have the horses to keep up in the race. Brock Purdy's never lost to the Rams. Brock Purdy has never lost to the Rams. Off the Niners' last two losses, by the way, you got to go back last year. Off their last two losses, they have come back with a vengeance, winning their next games, by an average of 24 points a game. San Francisco has beaten the Rams at Los Angeles 5 of the last 6, and by an average of 8.5 points per game. So even sans Debo and CMC, wide receivers Jordan Whittington, Demarcus Robinson, and Tutu Atwell, they ain't putting loss number 2 on San Francisco. Give the 7 for some six-pack heaven.
Yeah, that's a piggyback right there.
Hey.
I was hoping you'd go CSI with that sounder, but no, I'm absolutely piggyback on this. This is bounce back territory. The Rams.
Piggyback.
And McVay, these matchups have been super interesting over the last handful of years, and it felt like one way or the other. Was it the Rams that were always beating the Niners that were always beating the Rams? Yep. Like this is an interesting matchup. Mm-hmm. They're too hurt. They don't have enough, and it's going to be a lopsided win for the Niners.
And not only are they super banged up, they have veterans who have rings.
Yeah.
So it gets late early with certain teams and veterans situations. I can't believe the way they just let Arizona go up and down the field last week. It was unbelievable, some things I saw when I watched back a few highlights. So, hey.
I think that this might be, as a six-pack of picks, the highest scoring game. It has the potential to have the highest scoring game of the weekend.
Dallas 1st and 10 at its 30. And play action. Prescott back to throw. Deep to the right side. Lamb made a man miss and running down the sideline. And Lamb's on the horse. And Lamb's in the end zone. Touchdown C.D. Lamb, 65 yards.
That's Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio. I should have used the right Jerry Sandusky, though, voice of the Ravens, because this, if I'm comparing it to a beer, this is Steel Reserve. This is special export where you get a buzz, but it doesn't taste good. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like when the Ravens win games. You get the win, but it's ugly at times. The Ravens are not starting 0-3. I can't fathom it in my head. They're 1-point favorites at Dallas. They got something screwed up on defense, though. Best pass rush in the NFL through 2. Worst pass defense, and it's not close in the NFL. The Ravens right now, they're giving up 40% on third downs. They're giving up chunk plays in mass. Nobody's running on them. But both the Chiefs and Raiders found ways to gash them in the passing game. So I get all that. And this is also a bounce back. A taste out of your mouth moment for the Cowboys, and in particular Zimmer's defense as well. But it ain't going to happen. The Ravens offense has the most yards accumulated in the NFL. Their struggle has been in particular in the red zone, closing the deal, some turnovers. We watched it in opening night against the Chiefs. I don't love Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman independently, but I love one of them for a 50-plus yard touchdown this weekend. And there's a clear objective. We saw it, and it was tight. They end up being on the wrong side of it. They need to get Mark Andrews moving. Isaiah Likely was the story of the opener, but Mark Andrews is his nookie blankie. That's got to happen. And it's the speed to match what we saw week 1 again is getting the tight end game moving. I think this, as I mentioned, I think it's the highest scoring game of the weekend. I think the Ravens just outduel. I love Lamar Jackson in this moment down in Big D, just outdueling and being better than what Dak and those guys are going to provide. So I have Ravens -1 over the boys.
I can't piggyback it or book it because I can't figure it out. It's a very unpredictable game in my estimation, but I respect your angles. I got a stretch for you here. This is more of a heart play, not because of the team against whom I'm going, simply because what's transpiring here with this point spread could not make less sense to me. I'm going to support these guys.
Levis to throw it. stepping up, firing deep downfield, going to give Ridley a chance, and it is caught! Caught! Touchdown! Titans! Yes! Miraculous! Yes! Calvin Ridley with Sauce Gardner all over him, located the ball, went low, caught it, and broke the plane while rolling across.
That's Mike Keith, Titans Radio.
So this one makes a lot of sense, right? Check this out. All right. Green Bay has a better defense and more experienced coach. Will Levis. Okay. 2 touchdowns and 3 picks through 2. And the Bears tried to hand a game to this Tennessee Titans bunch, and the Titans wouldn't take it and looked awful in losing. Malik Willis, I believe, will be going against his former team. Will Matt LaFleur let him pass? He only threw 14 baby passes in the Lambeau win versus Indy, which was toothless against the run. Green Bay has the better personnel and absolutely seems more organized. We have a new coach with Tennessee, and he's still improving. Knowing all that, I'll take the Tennessee Titans to continue an amazing streak of strange. The Packers never have won in Nashville and haven't beaten the Oilers/Titans franchise on the road since 1992. That's a lot of Favre. That's a lot of Aaron. And they never win against the Oilers or the Titans, and I can't explain why. And I don't believe in luck or karma and stuff like that. But there's some boogeyman factor here I can't get around. I ain't scratching that 32-year itch. The books are begging Rubes to pound the pack as a road dog. So we're going to head the other way and support the surprise. Titans, -1.5. Don't even watch the game and hide the women and children.
I always love that one.
Go ahead, book it. I know you want to book it.
I can't book it here. If I knew Aaron Jones was playing, I would book it, and I would take the Packers.
You mean Love?
Or excuse me, Love, yes. Yeah. If I knew Love was playing for sure, I would book it in a heartbeat. The thing for me, the Titans were up 17-0 on the Bears.
Oh, wow.
On the road before imploding.
Yeah.
And it was Levis last week again with an absolute inexplicable red zone streak of stupid.
Yes.
You say streak of strange as a team. I'm saying Levis is on a streak of stupid.
And Pollard is running his ass off right now.
Correct.
He's good for them.
And that's actually, that you want to talk about streak of strange. What was Pollard going to look like after such a mediocre season in Dallas, replacing King Henry? The Pollard bit's been awesome. So I can't piggyback you. I can't book it because I am ultimately confused. I'd book it if I knew Love was playing.
Yeah.
They are going to annihilate Malik Willis.
It opened at 10 early in the week. Tennessee -1.
Yeah.
It went up to 2.
No, that
Are you kidding me?
Sense.
I mean, seriously, this is like this is such a fly in the face of Lemming Nation that you just, over the course of time, if you do this 1,000 times, where you look at it and the majority of people are like, this just does not make sense.
Yeah.
Well, you probably would win 80% of the time. So I just, I just got to be part of this right here. I'm going to take Tennessee -1.5.
I like it. Now, this is a bit of a heart play in its own. I like these guys on Sunday night.
Takes the snap. Kirk looks, sails it. Drake there. Caught. Touchdown Atlanta.
Here we go.
Drake London.
Yes.
For the first time in 14 games, he stands in the end zone. And the Falcons have tied the game with 34 seconds.
So my final pick, my 6-pack of picks, my 6-pack of beer. This one's an English ale, PA, because it lacks pop. It's low carbonation.
Is it a pale ale?
And it's served at basically room temperature, around 60 degrees or so. That's Kirk Cousins.
No, that sounds enticing.
But like English ales that I've had, it'll surprise you with the taste. I had one in London that blew my mind, and that's like Kirk Cousins in the clutch against Philly. The Falcons are 3.5-point dogs hosting the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, geez.
On Sunday night. Now, speaking of London, how about Drake London having to wait like nearly 15 games to get a touchdown? He did in the absolute clutch. A simple change. We saw 2 very different Falcons offenses from week 1 against the Steelers to week 2 in primetime against Philly. And the change? doing play action. How about we do the things that made Kirk really good and one of the high-end quarterbacks in the NFL for nearly a decade? Well, they did that, and they feasted. And that's also part of, by the way, the inability to get Bijan Robinson going week one, the inability to get Tyler Algier, the bowling ball, going week one. They found their spark for $150 on the ground against the Eagles as well. So I love Kirk spreading the ball around against the Chiefs secondary. They've struggled. And I like the duo rushing attack against the Chiefs, who are allowing about 5 yards of carry on the ground right now. And I'm going against a team they're not going to have, and I know it's all about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes can win any game in any scenario. Just give him a shot. And he's got a healthy Kelsey.
Yep.
And he found his way to Rashee Rice on a big one and a long one in that Bengals victory. Get all that. But Isaiah Pacheco is so much more important to this offense right now than most people really discuss, I think, when you talk about the Chiefs. He's the fourth or fifth guy that you mentioned, but he kind of makes a lot of that go. He's not in the mix, PA. He's on short-term IR. And 2 weeks from now, it won't matter, because whether they bring in Kareem Hunt or whatever they do, they will adjust and they will move forward. But for one game, on one night, this Sunday night, in Hotlanta, Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons will not just, plus 3.5, I'm getting more in their field goal. I'm taking that anyway. They will beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday night.
Oh, my God. Kirko, chill.
I'm with you. I'll piggyback it. And in fact, I'm going to double up on the piggyback. And here's why. The Chiefs are coming off an incredibly emotional victory against Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Okay, those games are personal to Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, and Chris Jones, because they have AFC title game equity and past performances. And Burrow and Mahomes have, kind of come up together. Patrick before Joe, but they're kind of 1 and 1A in certain situations. Very tightly contested game. Cincinnati should have won, and Cincinnati didn't. And now for Kansas City, for Super Bowl teams, that's why I like the Ravens as much as I did opening night at Kansas City. And then they asked Lamar to pass, and it was beside the women and children. But with that said, that's still an emotional game. Then they came back the next week off that emotional game. They won, but they didn't cover. They shouldn't have covered against the Ravens. And now they go against an NFC team that has Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons to go with Grady Jarrett. But Nordo hit it.
Oh, my God. Kirko, chill.
Kirko found his feet middle of the third quarter on Monday Night Football. Like, I'm watching it. Nordo sent me a text about, it's like I got some people texting me being like, Kirk's washed and he's done and all this. And I've seen that a million times. I'd prefer to watch the game myself, make that determination and agree with everybody or disagree. Well, I finally got a chance to watch. And Nordo was bringing up some points to me about Cousins and footwork and stuff like that. I started to watch it, and he was dead right. In fact, Cousins and Robinson, they couldn't even get the footwork together, 3 straight handoffs.
Yeah.
So that it just went bam, bam, hand. Turn around fluidly, hand. No, it was like somebody was crossing over on somebody. It was weird. Middle of the third quarter, it came together. Kirko Chains found his feet. And then he made somebody pay. So they built up their confidence. Like a Ray McLeod running over here getting a bunch of targets, and it's working. So I'm with you on that. I'm not going to say Atlanta's going to win, but I like Atlanta with you to piggyback on that three and a hook. That's a nice little find by you there.
6-pack of picks.
6-pack of picks in the rearview mirror. Around the corner, we're going to empty a notebook on the Texans and the Vikings. Plus much more. FM 100.3 KFAN. All right, here's the deal. It's 9 to noon. It's 11:35 into the penultimate. You see, the powers that be, they don't let Nordo go to the Friday football feast. Nordo likes wings. Nordo likes beer. Nordo likes football. And fans like Nordo, and Nordo likes KFAN devotees.
Absolutely.
But they don't let him go. They keep him down. The man has kept him down for quite some time. So he stays back here and has to listen to the Friday football feast with all the crowd in the background and the
clinking of glasses.
Football feast. and he wants to be part of it. Nordo's a producer of the people. He's a producer of the people, and he wants to be with people, and they don't let him. So coming up shortly, he's going to empty the notebook that he has compiled all week with Texan and Vikings takes, and maybe to amplify it or help it. I got a couple here to just for people to chew on. Will Anderson Jr. Somehow he's very good, very, very good, but he won Defensive Rookie of the Year last year with only 7 sacks. I mean, he was the 3rd overall pick. Right after Super Special CJ in the 2023 draft, 3rd or 5th, one of the two. But nevertheless, yeah, that's
I think he went 3rd. Yeah, that's when they did the trade up with Arizona.
Stroud went 2nd, and Will Anderson Jr. went 3rd. Cool. He has a sack and a half. Azeez Al-Shaair, Kevin O'Connell's gone against him a lot when he played for the 49ers. He's unrestricted from Tennessee.
He did pick off Kirk in 2019, though, didn't he?
Yep, he has a sack. Their corners, Derek Stingley Jr., 3rd-year LSU, 3rd overall pick in 2022. My man has 0 sacks, forced fumbles, or fumble recoveries in his career. He's bookended by a rookie named Kamari Lassiter, 2nd-round pick from Georgia. Now, he got his first interception last game against Chicago. He has 0 sacks, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, hasn't scored a touchdown. They're kind of old in the secondary with Jimmy Ward, 11th year Northern Illinois, Eric Murray, 9th year Minnesota. Offensively speaking, C.J. Stroud's the bomb. We know that. I don't think Mixon will play. I don't think Dameon Pierce is going to play. So their starting tailback could be Cam Akers. That's cool. Stephon Diggs scored 37 touchdowns in 4 years with Buffalo, 25 touchdowns in 5 years with Minnesota. So just consider that, put that in context, because as we like to say, context is king. Wonder why he left. 37 touchdowns in 4 years with Buffalo, 25 touchdowns in 5 years with Minnesota. He has a couple this year, but he's only averaging 35 yards per game. Don't sleep on Xavier Hutchinson, 2nd-year Iowa State, 6th-round pick. My man can blaze, and he has never scored a touchdown during the course of his career, but for whatever the reason, they seem to be high on him. And finally, if Mixon and or Pierce don't play, expect them to run Tank Dell. This wide receiver is lickety-split fast, 2nd year from Houston. He's been to 19 schools. We go like D3, junior college, D2, junior college, then Houston. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of tricks with Tank Dell. We'll see what Nordo has up his sleeve next.
Fan. I can't wait until tomorrow. 'Cause tomorrow might very well be too late.
All right, empty the notebook. Texans, Vikings. The producer of the people has opinions.
Yeah.
They don't let him go to Buffalo Wild Wings Champlin, where we will be tomorrow.
It's ridiculous.
Buffalo Wild Wings Champlin tomorrow for the Friday football feast. Greenway at 9:15. Greenway, Iowa Hawkeyes. Tanner Morgan, Golden Gophers, about 9:40, 9:45, up to the top of the hour. Then Tanner stays with us for a little bit. So Tanner time, Buffalo Wild Wings Champlin tomorrow, along with YA Young Alec and the aforementioned Greenway, plus Paul Charchian. Buffalo Wild Wings Champlin tomorrow for the Friday football feast. Go on and empty it.
Yeah, I'm going to start with this, and this could be dumb. I'm interested to see how the Houston Texans, when we've been talking about reunions all week, how they try to implement Stephon Diggs, because in this offense, I actually look at him in some ways as an afterthought. That doesn't mean he's not talented. That doesn't mean I also look at this game where Diggs could end up with 7, 8, 9 catches. This feels like it's a keep them in front of you type of game where you're going to see moments, because Nico Collins is their guy. That's my point, and this is what works. And you mentioned without Joe Mixon, that whether it's motioning and running with Tank Dell, it could be Cam Akers. This offense and the flow that they've had through 2 games starts with Mixon, starts with the rushing attack, and with that not being in the mix, I'm seeing a game where it's a don't get over the top on us, which Brian Flores' defense has been so good at. But if they're going to try and force feed Diggs, I actually think that ends up being a bigger problem for the Texans than it is for the Vikings in this game. And that was really kind of one of the first things looking at offensively that has popped in my head.
Love it, because tomorrow, for the brief notes that I've written for tomorrow, The tight ends, Cade Stover and Dalton Schultz. I'm moderately concerned about them. Kittle got us. All right. Now that's is it Kittle or is it the tight end spot got us? Bellinger in the Giants game, he was open too. And there were some misfires and some drops, so keep that in mind.
Well, but how do they use Kittle with the Niners versus Schultz? Yeah. And Schultz is athletic and
a lot differently.
But if Schultz is going to be if he's going to be running up the seams, I do like our coverage in those spots too. Mm-hmm. But you're right, the tight end spot is something to worry about. But Nico Collins, when you get a look at him, if you haven't paid attention, this guy, I don't want to say he's emerged from obscurity. I love Nico Collins. Pressure points for me, they're feeling good about the 7 sacks that they put on the Bears, but Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill against Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson is really interesting to me. And earlier on, I asked you during a break, what do you think about Danielle's mentality in games like this? Is he a guy that goes out of body, that needs to raise himself up? He's not a talker. He's not a flamboyant or boisterous guy. He's just so solid. And when he finds something that works, he can push that button all day long. But that's my pressure point here is watching how our offensive line, who has stood tall through 2 weeks of strong defensive fronts, remains tall against Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson, and you can throw Edwards in the mix through the middle. That's a massive pressure point here because I do believe that the combination of 2 corners that play every single snap, one of them a rookie and inexperienced, combined with their mix of really kind of average linebacking core, and then you're doing 3 or 4 safety sets at times, that they're going to get their confusing moments in. But I love, specifically through the middle, if Sam Darnold can work on attacking those areas, I think he could feast on Sunday against this Texans defense if our offensive line continues to do their part and keeps them upright.
Off the way you laid things out, what I said earlier, I'm going to stick by. O'Connell against slow safeties and inexperienced corners is lethal. Flores against young quarterbacks should be lethal.
And that leads me, I mean, it's the most obvious thing, right? Limiting CJ Stroud. Yeah. I'm excited to finally see him in person against my team because I love this kid. But in the same respect, I don't think that he's going to face it. He hasn't faced a test like this. And we're going to have to be patient with moments where we go, oh my God, this kid's so good. And watch for the Metellus play, watch for the Cashman play, watch for the free rusher, watch for the trickery, and force this kid into spots that make him uncomfortable. The lack of run game is putting a ton on this kid's shoulders on the road in an environment like this. Early on, we'll get a taste and a test of how he's going to handle that. I love our team this weekend, but Stroud is going to, I mean, he's going to be a pain in our ass all afternoon.
And I don't think that's going to take place early. You see, I think early it's going to be a wave. I mean, I think we got some tidal wave terrorism coming for the youngster, but he's so good and sees it so clearly. He's going to work his way through it, and he'll find his. Anything else? Good times coming tomorrow, Buffalo Wild Wings Champlin.
Grenard have a blow-up game. You mentioned Grenard yesterday and how good can get better. 9 of his sacks were in a total of 4 games last season. 9 of his 12.5 sacks. Ooh. Just do it against these guys. Their offensive line, Stroud's hit the ground 7 times this season. Let's get him a few more times on Sunday.
We're keeping our head above water. We're making a wave when we can. Temporary layoff begins now. Back at it tomorrow when we rise and shine at 9. Buffalo Wild Wings Champlin for the Friday football feast. For Eric Nordquist, I'm Paul Allen. The program is next on FM 100.3 KFAN.